Hello, everybody. Lex Gray here. Well, this is episode 16, session 16. We are officially moving out of the AI household and back to our traditional tabletop play. I will take over for everything. We are continuing where we left off with the AI. So, this is the world map I drew. It's a blank slate. There are some details filled in based on past locations we discovered. So, essentially, this is a split island. It's called the Islands of Escobar. This is North Escobar. This is South Escobar. And A is the first village we started in, which was Raven Shade, right there on the top there. And B is going to be Ashward, which is Wolf's home village where he was born. C is Haldrith, which is the fortified city where a lot of uh, the past Echoes arc has taken place. So currently we are on our way west. We just left Haldrith and we are about halfway to Ashford, which is right here. So there is still a lot of undiscovered land on these two islands because if you remember, we discovered the Dark Realms and we pretty much time jumped or space-time continuum jumped right into um, out Ashford from Ravenshade, from the outer areas of Ravenshade, wherever these ruins were. That's where our campaign started. This is where we ended up. So we still have our character sheet is now analog here, where everything is carried over exactly, mostly exactly as I kind of condensed on some of the stunts here. I will be using for this session, I'm going to be going back to the Mythic GM cheat sheet here. So we are using the Chaos Factor 5, and we will definitely use these actions because I am a little rusty from obviously Crutch AI handles a lot of the lifting regards to narrative, and I have my notes here. So it's good to be back. I don't have my original overtop camera. That archway is being borrowed by a friend of mine. It's just a giant table arch with the camera facing down. So once he is done with that for his videos, then I will bring that back momentarily. So I have this sub replacement, which is just a little table stand with a tripod mount. So this is the best I can do for now. But at least you guys can see the chaos factor to the bottom left there, the gold die, the gold D10, and the world map. So note-taking wise, right here, it's not necessarily a journal, just kind of keeping track of what is happening. As always, solo RPGs, I'm going to forget details in the past. Obviously, AI has summarized every last 15 episodes, and I piggybacked off some of that. So, Wolf and Jory head back to Ashford. Again, we're right here. We're basically in tile, let's say 1825. So basically x-axis, y-axis, if I'm not mistaken. I'm going to do that right here. 18 and then 25 is where we left off, just so I can keep track of world travel. This is the first time we're using world travel for Wolf. This Wolf campaign, I've had multiple Wolf-related uh, campaigns, short-lived campaigns. So this is the new Wolf. Um, but we're currently on the past Echoes saga, and 1825, we are basically in the wilderness at this point. There is a lot of death and just a lot of death around the area. I'll just use keywords, not necessarily taking notes on every single thing I say. As I sharpen the pencil, I want to mention that uh, this area of the southern Escobar Island is rather barren. It's not a wasteland per se. We're not talking Fallout, but it is rather barren. So there's not much going around here besides the large fortified city of Haldrith. Now, Haldrith is a port city. There's going to be, more we can discover in these areas just around Haldrith. But basically, once you leave the fortified walls, you are out in the wilderness. And because Fate is not necessarily an OSR game, we are not really encountering a lot of monsters or, well, per se, just fantastical monsters like goblins and any creatures of sort as we travel, as we're, traversing the wilderness. We're not doing the, day check roll. We're not doing the overnight check roll. We're just story time traveling through another location. But we can kind of throw in a bit of chaos or unknown factors like these tables here. So while we're traveling, remember Jory, our plot hook, our hidden twist, which I probably should never have revealed, but it's on the table now. Jory is going to betray Wholf momentarily. So because I'm back in control of Jory for the most part, that's not cooperative anymore with the AI. I know Jory is going to betray him because Jory is, in fact, a member of the Veil. So let's keep track of who is who. So let's turn this over here. This is our this is basically our spine for the story. I have locations here, and I also need to keep track of factions because there's definitely a few factions we've encountered. So we've encountered the first one, which was let's see, the archives, the court. So the court, they are the governing body of, yeah, the governing body of the of Hadrith. So however that government system works, that's basically what they do. There's also the archive, the archives. They are a neutral state, but they work with the city. So city of Aldrich. They're basically the record keepers of anything that's mystic or magic related. I'll say mystic uh, record keepers, just to kind of give them a an ID. And then there's the now I forgot the you know what? I'm going to just story hack, or I should say retcon the name of the villains, which they'll be called the Arcane Veil. They are the villains. So they are the counterpart, the rivals to the archives. They're more disorganized and uh, work in the shadows, more chaotic. So they're basically artifact scavengers, and they are chaotic, just to keep track of who's who. And then obviously Jory is the leader of the Arcane Veil, secretly, which makes sense because, like I said before, Jory's been tailing us, and then eventually became our, companion, our friend. He pulled a Doctor Who, and now he's traveling along with us. So let's do our first roll for today, and we'll be looking at the GM Mythic cheat sheet here. So Chaos Factor's 5, everything's in the middle, but let's first just roll for something contextual about what we are uh, going to encounter in that tile of 1825. So we're doing the first one, actions. 8, attack. Okay, so we might have our counter today. And then 81, attack, representative. Okay, well, there's going to be a Veil member that representative, I'm thinking, the Veil. So we have an encounter with a Veil with the Veil. So let's figure out how many there'll be. Let's do the 50-50 chaos factor. Because there's a Veil member appearing right before us as he pops up probably off of the side of the road from the wilderness, that's a 6. So let's do chaos factor 6. Is there going to be 2 or more members? That's going to be likely. 51. There is. So let's say there's just 2 for now. That roll was a 51. That is, that's a yes. That's a standard yes. Nothing out of the ordinary. So we encounter 2 Veil members, 2 assassins, as they are all the way out here trying to stop us from bringing the scroll, which is right here. The star item is a quest item. The scroll to the village of Ashford, again, where Wholf was born, family lineage. So, which makes sense because Wholf now has that identity with him, and it's going to be following him for a very long time, as long as we are in this region of the Escobar Islands. Now, do they attack first? Do we get ambushed? That's the question. So I'm going to write down what I rolled here. It was attack and then rep. There we go. Just going to keep track of my notes or the rolls. Now, do they attack first? Let's figure that out. Do they attack first? I'm going to say 50-50 because it's in the wall. Oh, you know what? We can do our skill roll. We can say that um, Hunter's patience. Don't think that qualifies just yet. And let's not forget um, our bennies or our fate points for this episode. I've got three down here, three Nuka-Cola caps. We spend those as we see. The refresh rate's 3, so I'm just tracking that. And I'm going to do a notice roll because I'm going to assume that Jory's probably easily aware of it, so he doesn't really get a roll. Would it make sense? But a notice roll for Wholf, and that's a +2, so standard fair. Now, because think of the difficulty. Jory is it's wilderness. There's a lot of dry, dead plants, foliage, not a lot of um, vegetation that's tall enough to hide um, a bunch of people. Probably just enough to hide a few, but not a party. So there is just 2 members, which we've concluded. Which I'm going to roll now. Let's say it's a +2 difficulty. So we have +2 notice on this roll. I'll get it closer to the camera so you guys can see it. That is okay. So that flats out. So we tie it, which means it is a well. Let's get the rules here. I can always just improvise. Let's just improvise. So that's no shift. That's a tie with a minor. Let's say it's a tie with a minor setback. So they notice. So Wholf notices, but it's a tie, which means we need a minor setback. Now this minor setback, let's figure that out. Let's just roll 2 D100s here. So 25. The setback will be create 2 adversity. Create adversity. I want to re-roll that. 28 expectation. Oh, okay. Oh, you know what? Create expectation. Let's say that's an ATM. So an ATM. Let's do some ATMs here. I call out ATM. The first one is to create expectation, which can mean that we Wholf expected this to happen. So the second, remember, there's usually 3 of my ATM rule aspect of moment. The second aspect is going to be 50, which is hinder, and then 11, bureaucracy. Hinder, bureaucracy. Hinder, bureaucracy. So I'm not really sure how to interpret that. Bureaucracy, which is right there. And the third aspect is going to be 53. That's increase. It's nice to be going back to writing again. And then 89, technology, increase technology. Well, there is no technology, modern day technology in this world per se, but you can always translate. I'm leaning towards the first one, create expectation. So that basically, because Wholf and Jory, well, mostly Wholf, is aware that they are under the watch of the sneaky Veil group, the Arcane Veil. I think I'm going to invoke um, free this free aspect and give us a +2 on defending. So the setback is the setback says we see them, but they strike first. And I'm going to use this bonus +2 on defending. against, let's say, there is an arrow that's fired at us first. So I will roll and use athletics to dodge the first arrow. Strangely enough, it's actually targeted to Wholf, not Jory. But again, Wholf still assumes because he is the rightful heir to the Ashburn name. So we're rolling a +2 and another +2, so +4 total on this roll. I'm going to say it's a difficulty of 3. That's 5 total. So we dodge the arrow. So we dodge the arrow, we pivot. I'm going to say athletics on dodging the arrow. So we dodge, and then we attack. So we're going to attack. There are two members. We just got to keep track of who's who. Let's give them. So this is the Arcane Veil 1, and then the ACV 2. Let's say they have. I love how it's so simple to just create these characters. They don't have HP or anything. It's just stress boxes. Let's give them just 2 stress boxes per. There's 2 of them. They're assassins. So they have arrows, they've got not, they have daggers. Pretty much that's it. So Wholf is going to first attack the Arcane Veil number 1 with his arrows because we're at a slight distance, and we're using shoot. There is we've already invoked an ATM, so we can't really do much more. We're not really able to use a stunt at the moment. I'm saving my wrist dart launcher for later. And you know what? Don't typically track ammo, but I'm going to say from earlier, I think it was like 8 or so. There was 8 shots. I'll use tallies next to that 8 if we use the wrist dart launcher, straight out of Assassin's Creed. So we're rolling for attack with really no advantage here until we get closer, because then we have dancer in close quarters, which gives a +2 for fight when we are in close quarters combat, so stealth. So probably not too relevant at the moment. But we're doing shoot +2 with our bow. +2, let's say, oh, flat, so we get a tie. We basically deal 1 hit, I think, if that is considered a tie. We did +2. Oh, yes, I equal down the roll. Plus, plus, negative, negative. So it's strictly off the bonus. So we hit that. The arrow actually hits the first veil. Uh, he gets a shift, but he's able to strike back because it's a tie. So it's a tie with a setback. That's how I'm seeing it again. So we're going to roll to defend as he fires an arrow. Even though it's not his turn, we're still technically on our turn. So we'll have to dodge. We won't be able to use any stunts. We're going to just use the simple athletics. Let's do +2 again. Okay, so we did 3, so we dodge. We don't take any damage. Okay, good. Now it's Jory's turn, and I don't think he's going to try to hurt his own kind. He did turn in his own, um, the perp from earlier to the captain. I forgot his name already. Wait, I'm tracking names right here. Actually, I don't need to track locations here anymore because I already did that on the legend, a world map. The captain, totally forgot his name. So let's see. There's the Ember Watch. I don't need to track that. There's the Ember Archives, and I have the other sheet. There's Valessa, who is the archive member. She's our point of contact. There's Captain. I forgot his name. I'm going to make a new name for the captain. Let's say Captain Hollow. He's the captain of the Ember Guard, or I should say the Haldrith Guard. Haldrith Guard. There we go. He's the captain of the Haldrith Guard. Ember's just is being phased out. Okay, so now Jory's going to attack. He's going to use a spell, and he is attempting to strike. Let's say he has +2. I'll have his character be based off mine just closely. Let's give him plus. His magic will actually fall into. Let's just shoot. So +2. So he's trying to shoot. Yeah, these enemies are +2 for practically everything. So he's attempting to shoot his magic missile maybe at one of them. And that's a -1, so that's 1, which is a miss. The missile flies by, and Jory or Wholf sees that, and he's kind of disappointed. He's saying, It's like he's purposely missing. So the suspicion has increased for Wholf just slightly. Um, and now it's the one of the Arcane Veil one turn. So he's going to attack Jory. Jory is, sorry, Wholf is still the person of interest here. So we'll give this, let's do a flat roll, no bonus, attacking Wholf. So we'll attack here, and we have to defend nothing. So, well, I should give a bonus. Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, I said +2. So these guys are +2 for everything. So that's a +2. So that's a tie. But we get to roll defend for the athletics, which is a +2. Nice. That's 2 plus 2 is 4. So we take no damage. Then the Arcane Veil member number 2 attacks. Wholf again. Wholf is being surrounded here. Now we're rolling for the attack with a +2 on this roll as an attack, and that's a 0. So no defend required. Well, actually, we have to roll it. It's a roll against a roll. So that's a I've already lost. That's a flat roll of nothing. So we're rolling for defend against nothing. And we tied because our athletics +2, that's negative, so that's 0. So we tied, meaning we can accept a stress point and take a extra fate point if I'm going to, or a boost. So here's the boost. The boost is close quarters, so he's nearby. So this second Veil member came in close to allow the boost to strike back. So Veil or Wholf will take a shift of physical stress right here, but he's going to have a chance of +2 because of we're able to use a stunt now because it's close combat. So back to Wholf, he's attacking with a +2 bonus from Dancer in close quarters, which is typically used for stealth, but we're allowing it to be used for engagement in combat. And he's attacking the first Veil member now with his fight skill. That's +4, and the +2 bonus, which is against the +2. That is going to be a 1, so that's 4, 5, 6, 7 easily. The first Veil member goes down, he dies or is incapacitated. This and Jory is going to the second Veil member still at a distance. So Jory's going to try to use Magic Missile again and use his +2 to attack the Veil member. Let's see what their roll is. Nice, that's 3 +2, that's 5. So this Veil member has to roll 5 or more with a +2 on it. So that's going to be, okay, so we have a 5 against a, that's 3, that's 2, the minus there, +2, that's 4. So he fails, he takes a shift. Okay, good. So he's able to take a stress on the Veil member. Now it's back to the Veil member. He's going to attack Wholf again. He's complaining, why are they all on me right now? And Jory is kind of remaining back. So we're going to attack. This Veil member rushes in with daggers drawn and jumps to strike Wholf. And so we're rolling for +2 in this roll. That's a um, that's a 2 total. So that's 4. We have to roll 4 or more on defend with athletics. That's 6. I'm sorry, that's 4 also. That's a tie. We're going to, let's see. We can take that with the boost, accept it, or we can counter saying that we have 4 total. So if I'm not mistaken, that gives us a stress point. We can take the boost again, saying that he's close by, allowing us to use Dancer in close quarters. So Wholf's going to strike back now that he's close, which is his specialty, and fight +4, +6 on this roll against him. That evens out. So it's going to be 4 total, and the enemy is going to block against the 4 or more. That's 5. Oh, okay, so he blocks all of it. So Jory is going to step in and use his staff Let me get some other dice actually to represent the enemies. Okay, so Jory is going to use a stat. These darker red fate die represent the enemies, and the brighter red default fate die represent our team. So I'll put these just down here off camera. Okay, Jory is attacking with his staff, close quarters combat, so he'll get a plus. We're reflecting our skills with fight, so he's a +6 or +4 on this roll. Okay, that's a going to be fight +4. That's a -1, so that's going to be 3. So 3 total. We're rolling, trying the Veil member's trying to defend with a 3 or more with a +2 bonus. Oh, that's 5. He definitely went. So this guy is tough. Okay, so much better rolls. All right, so Jory says that this guy's tough, and now um, Wolf is going to ask for an ATM. So we're going to do another aspect of the moment, see what Jory can do. But because it's in combat, I'm only going to limit it to 1. So we'll do the first one, 99, which is usurp. Let's try again. Let's do 62. Move. Okay, that makes more sense. Move. And then the second one for action is going to be 70. Move personal. Okay, now, because this could be an, okay, so move personal. What would this, how does that relate to the current situation? Move personal. Is moving something physically or moving something emotionally? Personal affecting probably going to be Wolf. So personally, he feels like he's being ganged up here and he needs help. So maybe he's currently in a standoff, dagger to dagger, with the secondary, this remaining Arcane Veil member. And Jory is not seeming to intervene. Uh, I'm actually thinking that this second Veil member is quite strong. So he's better than the two that first showed up. And so Wolf shouts to, he's going to use an ATM, an aspect moment. He's using this one to basically yell, ask for an assist from Jory. A little caps there. And this will give him a +2 in attack. So let's do a slight time jump in the battle here. Wolf is desperate, and let's say he took another stress just from recently. There we go. And if I'm not mistaken, actually, let me do a check here on the rules. I think I forgot to translate my extra stress boxes in terms of when you create your characters. So, because if your willpower and I think fight are higher, then you can actually increase. There it is. Yep. So stress and consequences, I just need to update this. If you have physical, which is, let's see, physique is 3. That gives you all 6 stress boxes, which is good. So I need to update that. All stress boxes here. And then for mental is willpower, and that's +3, which is also all 6. So I almost forgot about that. So he is definitely a tank, but he's took another stress box as a slight time jump. So they are in a deadlock with the daggers. And Wolf has the advantage of having an ally, but the ally is obviously the bad guy. But does Jory want to lose his leverage here? And because again, he has a scroll, and the scroll needs to be wielded. So let's remember this: the the scroll has to be can only be used by lineage, by Wolf. So that is something that Jory needs to remember here. And but this Veil member could be one of Jory's best assassins. That's why he's putting such a good fight. Even though he only has 2 stress boxes, the first one collapsed in almost no time. But this Veil member is such a higher ranking member of the Veil that Jory is going to have to sacrifice him because he doesn't want Wolf to die. He needs Wolf's hands of the scroll to open the bolt. and will get the power, and eventually will betray him. But again, once we get there, if we get there. So this will be an assist. We're going to basically do a stunt, and that's Dancer in Close Quarters, which is a +2 in fight. That's 6, and then Jory's assist is an 8. Jory's just going to do something with a staff. So rolling with a +8 against the well, let's say the difficulty is +4 on this one. So I'm going to remember +4 against this final move because this guy is big and he's in a standoff. So let's do +4 more. That's a 3. That's 9, 10, 11. And so what I'll do, allow him to defend here. That's 11 total on the first roll. So W11 with the roll, and then with a +4 on the difficulty. Oh, okay. So that Jory just uses a staff and knocks him out, and then 2 daggers right to the lungs, and this guy is out. That is defeats the second Veil member in a finishing blow. Teamwork solidified. So the member collapses, and they defeat those 2 Veil members, assassins, the assailants. Okay, there you go. That was our encounter for today. And now we're going to be continuing on to tile, let's see, we're 1825. We're now in tile 1725. There we go. And that will be in the next episode of Past Echoes. So this will be episode 17. There we go. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. And we will increase the chaos factor to 7 because of this encounter. So things are going to go south very fast.